prior to the year ending. And of course, thank you for always tuning in to listen and to interact with our guest here in studio. And as always, guys, we tend to give you a treat as this is the last episode for the year. And today we're all talking about small businesses and giving you some tips. And of course, if you are a small business owner, and of course you have the idea of creating a small business, this program for you today is the right one. You have to tune in today. We have all the tips, the ideas, the experiences, and of course the expert here in studio. Now get your 2024 year started right as a small business owner. And before I give our guest an opportunity to introduce themselves, we're gonna take a short break, not too short. And of course, guys, please glue your ears to your radios because you're in for a treat. Stay tuned.
It mean respect. Trust in the process. It might rough now, but go on, push, brother. It's finding the courage to step out of your comfort zone and try something different. And never give up on your passion, because passion bring progress. So when them say bitter, that just mean life I get better. Cause the real gen of them drink Campari. Respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink responsibly.
And we are right back here in studio, and let's get our program started this afternoon. And of course, we are starting off kind of on a late start, a few minutes, of course. And now let's get started. And in studio, of course, with us, we have Mrs. Marilyn A. Coffee Morris. Some of you guys might have come across her name in the media. And of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go search to DNO and then you will see Mrs. Morris' name right there. And of course, let me give you a little hint, a little tip about our program this afternoon. She is, of course, the author of Don't Doubt Yourself, Just Stay Focused. And that's just one of the many books that she has offered. And of course, my favorite, even just looking at the cover of her, I'm a child, I'm not too young, tell me now. And of course, let's get our program started this afternoon. Good afternoon, Mrs. Morris, and welcome to the studios of Q95 FM Radio. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon, Mr. Valmore, and good afternoon to the listeners out there. I'm fine. I'm doing fine.
Yes. How is your week going so far?
I'm busy.
Yeah, I can
Why?
imagine.
Because I launched my books last week, Wednesday. That's on the 6th of December at NISBB. And right now I'm in the process of promoting it and getting it out there to various, persons who require it for the assistance in their small businesses as well as children.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I just gave our listeners a few hints of, I think, 2 books of yours that you established recently. Now, let's get to, before we go into the nitty-gritty of the program this afternoon, let's allow our listeners to get to know a bit more about the author. So who is Marilyn Coffee Morris?
All right. I am Marilyn Coffee Morris, and I am a citizen of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the land of my birth.
Yeah.
Right. I am out of 5 siblings. I am the third, and I was raised by 2 of the most, vivid parents. They were very loving parents. That's my mom and my dad, who passed away about 22 years ago.
Oh.
Yes. And I am basically, kept him in my thoughts and in the family's thoughts as well. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the guide. But a little about myself. I am a professional, right?
Yeah.
Um, I have a lot of experience in project management. I'm also a certified project manager, the PMI Institute. I am also a UE graduate as well, and I have a lot of different accolades behind my name,
Yeah.
as well as certifications as well. But my passion is in the small business sector, which brings me here today.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And of course, thank you so much. And I'm sure that our listeners actually got a picture of the person who is sitting in studio. And of course, if you're joining us on our Facebook Live, of course, we are live on our Facebook pages. That's Q95 FM Radio. You can see who we're speaking about right here and who is the person behind these guides. Now, let me tell you a bit more in terms of the program of the person right here, in terms of the reason why she is here. And of course, Mrs. Marlene Coffey Morris, she's the author of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises Guides, titled Don't Doubt Yourself, Just Stay Focused. And of course, these guides are aimed at individuals aged 18 and above, school leavers, and of course, young people, and current and potential micro, small, and medium enterprises. So the guides are structured in 3 phases. And of course, she will touch a bit more about these guides in depth for you guys. So that's preparation, execution, and expansion. And it covers over 200 topics to guide one in their business startup, preparation, execution, and of course, expansion. So, Mrs. Morris, let's get started here in studio on the reason you're here. So let's really get a picture of getting started with these guides. So, of course, tell us what inspired you to create these guides for micro, small, medium enterprises in Dominica and the wider world. I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So right there.
Okay.
So what's the inspiration behind you offering these books?
Okay. As I mentioned prior, my parents were
Yeah.
very avid entrepreneurs.
Wow.
So growing up as a child in my formative years, my parents opened micro businesses. So I basically got a love for doing business. Coupled with that, I worked at NDFD for almost 11 years.
Oh wow.
And that inspired me to write. Why? Because one of my main functions was to liaise very closely with the MSMEs,
Yeah.
where I conducted training, technical assistance, provided assistance in business plan development, financial management, research, marketing. So it's basically providing developmental services
Yeah.
to that sector.
Oh wow.
And I realized that was a need in Dominica, and there was no standard document to do that, to take to them to do
Yeah.
that. And from when I left in 2011, thereabout,
Mhm.
that was always on my mind. And I liaised with 2 important persons. That's Mr. Etinov, who was the present director, as well
Yeah.
as the former Charles Maynard. So he's the one who actually,
Yeah.
guided me as to, how I should go about focusing. But then over the years, when you're a writer, and it was my first, book.
Oh wow.
I decided, okay, I'm going to start it. So I took a folder and I bought some reams of paper and I wrote everything that I wanted to write for the guide. And I even
Wow.
brought it to print today. When I saw it the first day, I was like, oh, I remember when I wrote this so
Yeah.
many years ago. And then now I started writing, typing
Yeah.
it out. Then I went to manage, in and out, manage the project, go back to it. So I just decided last year to just focus on it, just take the year and just focus on it. And then I was able to complete it. So that's basically what inspired me. My parents being in
Mhm.
business, as well as my experience working at the NDFD.
And of course, I did,
Yes.
feel that story deeply. I could
Yes.
imagine, like it's really touching. And of course, hearing you speak about the inspiration behind creating this book, and of course, it all makes sense now. And of course, I did have a chance to go through a few books. Well, read at the back of the book to really understand it, guys. Yeah, so I will read through it after the program.
Right.
But yeah, it really adds up. And as a young person, I know it is important that whenever you want to start a business or you're looking to start a side hustle per se, because usually small businesses usually start from side hustles of individuals. Now let's touch a bit more into these guides themselves. So what are can you share some of the key objectives behind these guides for MSMEs?
Okay, so I have basically 4 books.
Yeah.
And the one you mentioned a while ago, Don't Doubt Yourself, Just Stay Focused, is targeted at the 18 and over
Oh wow, yeah.
persons who would like to be in business. You call them potential entrepreneurs, and those who are presently in business. Yes?
Yeah.
And the objective of those is to provide a well put together document for those persons so that they are able to be creative in their ideas and in order to present their ideas and also to continue to develop their businesses. So it basically gave me the inspiration to put various topics together and also to organize the guide into 3 sections so that persons who are not in business can buy all 3. Those who are already in business for a certain period of time, let's say 2 to 3 years, can buy from the execution to the expansion phase. And those who are in business for a longer term can buy only the expansion phase only. So that's basically how it was done and the objectives of those. The one for the children now, basically, as I said, goes back to my childhood.
Yeah.
At that time, I did not have any experience in business, but I assisted my parents. So why don't give the children the opportunity? So my objective is to give the children and the opportunity at that age, between 13 to 17-year-olds, an opportunity to learn about business in a very simplified format. So that's basically the objective of this one as well.
Yeah, and of course, since you touched on the one for the children last, I was about to say we always hear parents who have businesses themselves say that they want to pass it down to their children. However, the interest in young children, they're not here to be able to manage a business, because being a young child, hearing your parents say that you have to manage a business, it's a huge thing. So your books, of course, will play an important role in actually equipping these young people to embrace the business. And of course, if there are parents out there and you have a small business or you have a business itself and you're looking to wanting your child to get an interest in taking over the business, of course, this book is the perfect match for equipping your child for the future, engaging. And of course, we know that you engage in your children, but this book is the material you need to get there. And of course, Mrs. Morris, moving on, we know that medium, small, micro enterprises, MSMEs, of course, yes. We know, let me tell you, the acronyms, I never seem to get my tongue keep twisting up for some reason. But yeah, we know there are specific needs of micro, small, and medium enterprises. So how can your guide, so if there are persons out there listening to the program and they fall on the micro, some small fall on the small, some fall on the medium. So how are these guides that you have written cater to the specific needs of these enterprises?
Okay.
Yes.
MSME, as you said, the acronym is micro, small, medium enterprises. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they fall under different sections. The guide is going to help anyone who is in that sector, because it basically provides an avenue for persons to start their business, especially those in the micro sector.
Yeah.
It gives them all the guides required to start a business. For example, in the preparation phase, has all the information that is required for somebody to start a micro business, right? Micro, small, or medium enterprise. If the business started from a micro phase, it also gives ideas on how to expand the business to a small and then expand it to a medium business. So there are things in there, there are ideas in there, as well as topics to help persons to maneuver their business from micro to small to large. It also has information on the human resource, how to keep your records, because another challenge we have is that a number of persons don't keep their records. All they do is just make money and spend without any idea as to how much they're making and how much they're spending, whether is the business profitable or is it not.
Yeah.
So there are ideas as to how to go about, managing the business. There's information on standards. Persons start micro businesses and they know nothing about standards Okay, so the Bureau of Standards worked very closely with me as well in order to provide information in there. You move up to this to the small phase. There's information in there about Bureau of Standards in the region. So I did not only focus on Dominica, I also focused on businesses in the region as in important businesses in the region as well. So if somebody wants to export, there's information as well on standards on the regional market, as well as if you want to expand to a medium, larger business, then you're able to access information from there as well. So at least all the information is not in there about the standards, but at least you know of the opportunity of which businesses that you can contact originally in order to expand your business to that level. So it provides information at a number of different angles and a number of different topics. So persons at any level in business can gain, some form of information from it.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of small business owners we have had right here on the program. Some of the tips they usually give, because at the end of the program, we usually ask small business owners to give some tips to persons looking to start up a business, and even looking at some of the challenges they faced as small businesses, what they would, and some of the tips back then to the tips would be that always keep your records, because that is important. And of course, that is an obstacle when accessing grants to start off your business. So of course, you literally highlighted that your book is perfect for persons looking to start up a small business. And I'm not sure if you know of Finance Focus, which is run by Luana Laura.
Yes.
She always advocates for these things, especially for small businesses. And you have it right here in your book. So of course, that highlights the importance of record keeping and financial management as it relates to MSMEs, of course. Yes. Yes, let me tell you. And of course, right here we're on the challenges. So what challenges do you believe that MSMEs commonly face, and how do your guides address them? And of course, yes, you feel free. You're getting right here, right? You don't have to pay for these advices because she's going to read from the book, right? But yeah, so what challenges do you believe MSMEs commonly face, and how do these guides address these challenges?
Okay, so in the preparation phase, you mentioned how do we start businesses in the preparation phase. The preparation phase also has in chapter 2 various challenges that small businesses are likely to face, and also some solutions that persons can embrace. Yes. So without putting out all of them, I leave some for the readers to read for themselves. Lack of research. We also have no technical assistance and no technological innovation, and their failure to invest profits. So these are 4 areas that I can point out for examples that I have in the guide, and also possible suggestions as to how these can be tackled as well. So if we were to look at lack of research, a number of times that people face challenges in business because they don't do any research. And before the idea came about to prepare the guides, I actually did a research at the schools. And that's what gave me the idea to prepare the guides, because you have to establish the fact that there is a problem, there is a need, and how do you address the need? So you first have to do the research, and then you spend the money. So I'm an example of what you should do.
Yeah.
You do the research, and then you go ahead and do the project. So the first one, as I mentioned, is lack of research. If you're able to do your research and educate yourself sufficiently on the project that you want to do or the business that you want to do, then that's going to help you in the future. All right. Another area I mentioned is no technical assistance. Some people start businesses, they have no business plan. There's a vision, but how do you get to the vision? Oh, I want to do this. For example, I would like to do the guides, but how do I get to the end point?
Or how do you put pen to paper?
And one of the things that I did, you have to write down what you want. You have to see it in the future. It's in your head. You've seen what you want to do, but how do you get there? And you have to be persistent and consistent. Persistency and consistency is going to get you there. If you are not persistent and consistent, you're not going to get there because you're going to fall through the cracks.
And of course,
Right.
that of course is the key right there.
That is the key.
Persistency
And
consistency.
consistency.
Well,
Yes.
yes, that's it. And of course, before we get started, let's try to get our listeners engaged. There may be small business owners out there. You're engaged. You fall under the micro, small, or medium enterprises, and you want to ask some one-on-one questions on how to improve yourself. So how can you purchase these guides? Where can you get these guides? And of course, all the business information. So today we're in the business mindset. So if you want some advice and you want to engage with our guests right here in studio, the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. And of course, our overseas listeners, this program caters to you as well. So you can reach us right here in studio at 305-432-9624. Now, to continue our little conversation, right here, Mrs. Morris, I know that's something we're supposed to touch in the beginning, but at least we have a better understanding of these guides that you wrote. So, how did you conduct your research or gather information on these guides? There are more. I know, of course, there are more than one
Yes.
sources that you source this information.
Right.
So elaborate on
A little more.
on that aspect for us to better understand it.
Okay. So, as I indicated before, for the adult guide,
Yeah.
my experience at NDFD taught me as to how I should maneuver in terms of preparing the guide,
Yeah.
because it basically gave me an idea as to what are the needs. So working directly with the entrepreneurs for all those years gave me an idea as to what I should do. In terms of the one for the children, I prepared a questionnaire, and the questionnaire focused on what are the needs of the children at that time. Would they be interested in a document like that? Do they work in their family businesses, or do their family have businesses, and what part do you play in the business? And it's interesting that a number of the children are involved in their family businesses, and a number of them have little businesses.
Oh wow.
Even on my book, the children that are on my book,
Yeah.
2 of them have little businesses. Don't check
Nah,
the children.
nah.
Don't underestimate them.
Definitely.
Don't underestimate them, right? So their interest in the business is very, very high. But the parents now has to be the one to oversee them
Mhm.
and to get them to understand what it is in business, what to do, why are they doing certain things. So the research basically focused on, as I said, are they in family business? Does the child does the child have any part to play in the business? Is
Yeah.
she working in the business? Do you like what you're doing? So all of these little areas I included in the questionnaire. And would you be happy to read a document such as that?
Yeah.
And what areas would you like to include in the document? So little simple things.
Mhm.
Would you like to know about your money? Would you like to know about people? Would you like little things? And at that time, when I saw that, I said, wow, that's something I think I should do. Yeah.
Wow.
And then also, I also looked at various TV shows
Yeah.
as well.
Oh,
And
wow.
one that I like to look at is Shark Tank. And it shows where young children
Yeah.
are involved in business, and they are the ones who pitch their family
Yeah.
businesses. That's why I say don't underestimate children. And the child that I looked at was only 12 years old. He was only 12 years.
Yeah.
And this book is targeted at 13 to 17-year-olds, one for the children. So this is what not inspired me to this is the strategy I used in my
For
research
conducting.
for developing the one for the children and also the one for the adults.
Wow. Touching on the children one, it's quite inspiring, and it's quite interesting, to be honest.
Mhm.
Because one, we always see parents looking over, and we always say the importance of parents carrying down their knowledge on certain areas, and of course business of course is one of them. And secondly, well, I have had conversation with a few young people in terms of some of them looking to start off a business. However, the educational system does not cater to a certain extent into starting off a business. And your guide right here That's the textbook. I'm calling it the textbook for starting off a business as a young person. So those of you out there listening to the program and you're saying, hey, I wanted to start off a business for how long? Or I have the idea, except I don't know where to start. This book is perfect for you. You can, of course, reach out to your parents and say, hey, dad, mom, I want to get this book because I'm interested in starting off a business. Or you're looking to educate yourself a bit more on starting off a business. This book is the perfect textbook that you should have, or the perfect Bible you should have be holding if you're looking to start off a business. And of course, Mrs. Morris, we know critical sections and topics. We're touching a bit more into your books in detail now. So can you highlight some of the critical sectors or sections or topics covered in these guides that would be helpful to our business owners or persons engaged in the business sector if they listen to us this afternoon?
All right. So the topics I'm going to talk about, it is simplified in the guide for the children.
Yeah.
So after I prepared the guide for the children, for the adults, I prepared a simplified one for the children.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the guide entitled "Don't Doubt Yourself, Just Stay Focused," and there's a reason for naming it like that. Both of them has a reason for naming them like that.
You definitely have to touch on that one.
Yeah. So this one speaks about because I'm from the Commonwealth of Dominica, there's some information about the Commonwealth of Dominica, 1 or 2 pages about the Commonwealth, because I mean you have to inform people as to where you are from and where you're writing from. So gives information on the Commonwealth of Dominica, and also some preamble about my experience in business working with my father. So there's a preamble in each guide. So there's a preamble in each guide. There's also rules for starting a business in each guide. There's also there's a chapter summary points, what you're going to see in each of the guides. Yeah. So all of them has those, and also exercises at the back. So it's not only about providing information, but testing yourself to see whether you are on track.
Yeah.
All the guides also contains information. I worked with, I call them stalwarts like Mr. Jolly, Dr. Jolly, Dr. Jolly, and Anderson Jolly.
Yeah.
There's a case study in there about Anderson Jolly, and his children worked very well with me. Bullseye. There's also Malcolm Stevens. So there are different stalwarts in there in the different sections of the guide. Not only that, I also went further to give lessons learned from these stalwarts. Wow. So I did not just take the information. I'm saying this stalwarts has made it, we can make it too. And these are the lessons that I learned from them. So I'm asking others, when you purchase it, you're also going to learn from it as well. So that's the slant that I took for all of them.
Wow.
Now in the preparation phase, as I said, I dealt with certain topics, and one of the first things I dealt with is how to develop yourself as an entrepreneur. If you're going into business, you have to be able to know how to be disciplined. And each section has a little quote, and the quote came from me. So I'm not going to give out all the information. When you buy the guide, you will see the other quotes. But I'll just talk about the first one. It says, be disciplined and be consistent. Be disciplined, and that's the very first quote in the preparation phase. That's the very first guide. Be disciplined and be consistent. It is so critical because I mentioned it a while ago. You have to be consistent and you have to be, persistent and disciplined as well. It also talks about failures. I just spoke about it a while ago. And what is the process to becoming an entrepreneur? So what do I have to do in order to, get myself to that point? Because you have to have the mindset in order to be an entrepreneur, because it's not an easy job to just, remember you're spending money and you want to know that the money that you're spending, you make back something on it, right? So the process to becoming an entrepreneur, it has information on how to set up the business now, which are the agencies that you go to set up the business. Okay, the Bureau of Standards, Social Security, different areas, right? And there's also information regionally as to the businesses that you can go to set up your business as well. And how do you engage your human resource? How do you finance the business? And also standards. So if you're into an agro-processing business, what are the standards that you have to, develop in order to, present your product to your customers? Because you want to make sure that whatever you put out there is good. So there's information and standards as well. In the execution phase, that is phase 2, series 2 of the business, It talks about what you will gather, as I said, controlling your business finances, keeping your records, how to prepare your financial statements, managing the business, okay? And customer service, which is so important in business because customers can either make you or break you. It's important to have
Definitely,
customer
yes.
service, and not only to keep customers, but to draw more customers to your business to increase your customer base. It also has information, various forms of technical assistance as well. Okay. And then the expansion phase is it all. How do I expand my business? Looking at things like motivation from within, because you have to be able to motivate yourself. I have to motivate myself
And
first.
that's key, of course.
Right. So because I motivated myself, then others can continue to help me keep up that momentum. And that's why I was able to get to the end point. But you have to motivate yourself from inside. You have to be able to get up in the night and stay until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's
And write
motivation.
and type.
Yeah.
And I did that a number of times until my family would say, but you need to go to your bed. This means to fall.
Wow.
So you have to be motivated, managing your money and investing, monitoring and evaluation. And the slant that I took, manage your business as a project.
Yeah.
So you run the business. If you want to do quarterly, go back, monitor the business, see what happened in the business, and then move on. Fix it and then move on. Don't just run the business for how many years and you don't even know what's happening with it. So manage it as a project, monitor and evaluate. So you see where my project management experience comes from?
Definitely, yes.
Right. And then I put some information there on the future of MSMEs. I worked with the OECS to get some information in there, Caribbean export. So there's information in there if you want to go regional, as well as how to protect your business and to manage risk in your business. So there's a lot of information in there that
it's a lot. Your guides cover, like I love to say, your guides cover from not level 1, from level 0, of course.
Exactly.
So yeah, so your book. So let's give our listeners a bit of a time to take it all in, process all this information you receive, and we will be right back after this very, very, very short break.
It mean respect. Trust in the process. It might rough now, but go on, push, brother. It's finding the courage to step out of your comfort zone and try something different. But never give up on your passion, because passion brings progress. So when them say bitter, that just mean life I get better. God, the real gen of them drink Campari. Respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink responsibly.
Republic Bank's Power to Make a Difference annual call for submissions is now open for 2024. Last year, 15 NGOs, change makers, activists, and community leaders from the Eastern Caribbean and St. Martin answered the call to be the one to make the change and received financial support to help them enable sustainable futures for youth, entrepreneurs, communities, the environment, the disabled, and the vulnerable. Now it's your turn. For more information, visit republicbanbec.com. Application deadline is December 31st. Republic Bank gives you the power to make a difference.
Be part of the Mix and Mingle Bells and Jingles Christmas campaign by Fine Foods Inc. Buy any Angostura rum for a chance to win one of 3 fantastic prizes. Third prize, $250 cash. Second prize, $500 cash. And the grand prize, a brand new 55-inch smart TV. To enter, write your name and number at the back of the receipt and place it in the box provided. Or WhatsApp a picture of your receipt to 613-5051. Mix and mingle, bells and jiggles. Buy your Angostura rum products to win big. Happy holidays from Fine Foods Inc. Promotion ends December 27. Terms and conditions apply.
Foods will make you smile all day.
It's good. It's good. It's back. The Kentucky sandwich from KFC is back. Good. The Kentucky sandwich, only $16.50. Want more? Then get a combo with sandwich, regular fries, and regular soda for $23. Feel happy to save at KFC. KFC, it's good.
Contest the quality. When I'm out and it's my time to play. It's actually not the crew. It's not different for you. I hear you get rocked anytime you drink it once. The XM Supreme 15 years. The XM Royal 10 years. XM 5 years and the 750 milliliter Bateta. Come on, pass me a bunch. Thanks extra matcha, premium blend. Try out the 200 or the 750 ml. Yeah, man, guaranteed for any occasion. Say you can't go wrong with Bangstrom. Hey, drink and taste the quality. Bangstrom, yeah, more than Chanel. And Supreme High Wine, the pot and the white wine, and for the fruitcake, Greta Del me, and Sorry Brandy. I give it back. You can taste the quality. When I'm out and it's my time to play. It's a trading and the crew making a difference for you. I hear you get runs anytime you drink it. Remember, drink responsibly.
When you get to a certain age, different things drive you. Like the anticipation of a new adventure, the comfort of having friends who've become family, or just enjoying that journey to the next destination. At Beacon, we've given our 50-plus drivers more value and greater convenience with hassle-free sign-up, affordable fixed rates, and free benefits. Call Archipelago Trading at 448-5247 or log on to beacondominica.com for a quote today. And let us help you keep doing what drives you.
Not all rums are created equal. With all the care, attention, and craft that goes into El Dorado, it's more than just a fine rum. El Dorado exists to create deeper, more richly crafted rum experiences for drinkers to explore and savor longer. The richer the craft, the deeper the experience. Cheers to drinking quality. Drink El Dorado. Available island-wide. Distributed by Belfast Estate Limited.
Soufrier Scott said Gallion, we heard your cry.
The PM never did nothing about it. Nobody ever did nothing about it.
The general public is invited to a town hall meeting Tuesday, December 19th at 6:30 p.m. at the Soufrier Church Hall. A big meeting planned to discuss the way forward after the loss of your beloved investors Daniel Langlois and Dominic Marchand, murdered in cold blood. Everyone is invited to participate. Let's remember Daniel and Dominic in a special way.
I can never forget them. I wish they were there.
Tuesday, December 19th, 6:30 p.m., Soufrier Church Hall. MO News will be there live. See you there.
I miss them so much.
Don't sleep, don't sleep. Wake up. Kalaya money. Wake up. Kalaya money.
And we are right back here in studio to continue our conversation on small businesses. And of course, for those of you engaged in the micro, small, and medium enterprises here in Dominica, on the global level and regional level, of course, you can be listening to our program today. We have Mrs. Morris here in studio with us. And of course, to remind you guys who she is, for some of you joining us right now, of course, Mrs. Morris is the author of guides titled Don't Doubt Yourself, Just Stay Focused. And of course, I am a child, I'm not too young, tell me now. And to continue our conversation right here from where we took a short break, we're going to touch a bit more, Mrs. Morris, on sustainability and growth of micro, small, medium enterprises. So how can your guides that you have offered, how can your guides help micro, small, medium enterprises in terms of growth and sustainability?
Okay, when we think of, excuse me, when you think of sustainability, you think of something that's a going concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that continues to operate, something that continues into the future, so that the main focus is, if you have children, that the children takes over whatever you do. So this is the guide to do that, just that. Why? Because first of all, if we have to look at the topic sustainability and growth, the children's guide is going to help the children within the family business. At least the children will have a basic understanding of what the parents are doing within the business. Basic. That's children between the ages of 13 to 17. So it's going to help them in terms of when the parent is, recruiting employees into the business.
Yeah.
Why are they recruiting those employees in the business? Why are they paying them that way? What is the advantage to the business in taking 3 people rather than 5? Why are we relieving 1? So it will give them a basic understanding of what's happening within the business, right? Now, as they get older and they are able to purchase those, this will give them further additional information into how to manage the business now. So now that they've had a basic understanding, they are older now. So now they're able to handle their own businesses, so that they can say, okay, I have learned this at a tender age, so I'm going to learn even more. I'm going to get even more information in order to help me to make that business a going concern. Okay, so that's why it's important that parents need to work very closely with children, and even parents who don't have children and have their businesses can also assist them as well, because there are areas in there that will assist them in executing in the business. If there are certain things that they are not doing, then it will give them an idea as to how to do it and why they should do it.
Oh, wow.
And if also they operate businesses locally and they would like to go regional, there's also information in there that can guide them in order to help the business to be sustainable and to grow. So you don't only look at the local market. They always say you start from home and then you move abroad. So those that have started from home, you move up the ladder little by little, bit by bit, and you get to a point where you want to move regional. Then there's information there as well as to guide you in terms of your growth and sustainability as well.
And that's where, of course, expansion comes in.
Exactly.
Because we always ask small businesses, are there any future plans of expanding your brand or business?
Exactly.
And what these books remind me of is the educational journey to reaching to university. And of course, you have the children's book, which breaks it down, the information, and of course, the guides that would help when you're advanced on the business level to purchase these books and educate yourself further. And you did touch a bit more on success stories and case studies.
Yes.
This includes Mr. Jolly, Malcolm Stevens, and all these other persons. So to give our listeners a better understanding of what do you mean by case studies or success stories? Because we know the importance of learning from your mistakes, as well as reflecting on what you did wrong in order to make persons do it the right way.
Yes.
And that's the hint for our small businesses. Other businesses giving you the hint of what they did wrong and how to do it the right way. And of course, how many success stories are there in your guides? And can you elaborate a bit more on these success stories for our listeners?
Yes, well, basically I have about 8 of them, because I did not want to put too many initially, because the idea is to develop another guide. I won't give the information out now.
Don't give the
but you move to the next stage. So this is stage 1, and then you move to the next stage. So basically the idea was not only to present a book, but to educate and to inform persons that people have done it before. Like, for example, my dad did it before. I had the experience of working with him. I learned from him. So those persons who were, I was very happy to work with, to put their information in there. I learned from them, right? So the information in there, other persons will learn from it as well. For example, Mrs. Defoe, who has her business in Wesley, also provided me with information on how she became an entrepreneur and what she went through as an entrepreneur. And I gathered some lessons learned from it as well. Like, for example, she has the business started with equity. That's her personal funds. And the lessons that I learned is that a business can start with your personal funds. But you have to make sure that your finances are in order first. You're not going to have $20,000 in your account and just use
Yeah.
your equity to start a business. And then you do not have the resources for your operational expenses. Nor can you pay your personal lights
That's
and
true.
water.
Yeah.
So that's one of the lessons that I learned from her, which is so critical. Another one I could speak about, the product line was increased since they saw the opportunity to expand.
Wow.
The product line was increased since they saw the opportunity to expand. So you don't only, expand your product line because you want to.
Yeah.
And it is that sentence is so important because the business was at a stage for growth. And that's another thing you have to look at. If the business is not at the stage to grow, you don't force the growth. And you don't open other businesses whilst this business is still growing. Right? So it's like having two little children at the same time. You have to allow one the opportunity to grow first, and then, So I'm saying here, do not be afraid to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. So she saw the opportunity to expand her product line and to expand the business. So she, capitalized on it and did whatever she had to do in order to expand the business. Another area I learned as well is that the company was rebranded in 2003. Rebranding has the advantage of expanding the business products in a new way. Okay, so you can rebrand your business. Your business name is give me a name.
Golden Leaves.
Golden Leaves, right? And you would like to rebrand the business, and the colors of the business was yellow and let's say red.
Yeah.
Right? And there are other aspects of your logo. There are reasons why individuals do their logo in different ways. Like look at NCCU. NCCU has rebranded themselves as a community credit union. That's a perfect example, right? So they are now CCCU, which is the community credit union. And basically what they do, they move out into the communities and reach out to people in the communities themselves. So once you see the opportunity to rebrand your business, and that's one of the lessons that I learned from her, once you see the opportunity to rebrand the business, you can take advantage of it so that customers see you in not only a better way, but in a way that your business now can even achieve even more sales. You can rebrand your packaging as well.
Yes.
So based on the type of business that you have, and you realize that the customers are moving towards a certain type of product, you what would I say? Augment your product and then you rebrand your packaging. So people see look at the business like it's a new business. Oh, there's a new business. So that business has additional features.
Yeah.
The product that they are producing has additional things to it. So more customers will come and be drawn to your business. So these are some of the things I don't want to say anymore. When they buy the book, then they will see all the things in there and all the stalwarts that I worked with in order to gather information from the lessons that I learned as well.
Wow. And of course, in the case studies forms an important part of these guides are there. We consider them live stories and motivation for persons to purchase and implement it. And of course, we know when your conversation is so interesting, that time flies by so quickly. But before we close off, let's touch a bit more on we always know persons may be listening and say, but this person offered guides, so I can purchase guides from online, or this is what I did because I bought this book. So what differentiates your guides, the one you offered, from other resources available for MSMEs on the global stage, regional stage, and national stage?
Personal experience. That is so important. When you write from your heart, there's no other way to sell the product from your heart. Why? Because these are my experiences. And that's what differentiates this guide from other guides. Because of my experience, I wrote it for a market who would have the same type of experience that I had.
Yeah.
So that they went through basically the same thing, or it could be not everything. I mean, people don't go through everything that you go through. Yeah. But the experience of being in business as a child, the experience of growing up with your parents, the experience of being in business, and it caused you to be an entrepreneur
Yeah.
yourself in your individual life. So that journey, other persons have that same journey. So that's what differentiates me from them, to have an opportunity to have a copy of those, so they can go
No.
through the same journey as well.
So it's the customers, potential customers, connecting with your story
Exactly.
to be on the
Yes.
journey, and of course that's just hit the hammer on the
The
head.
head.
Yeah, and of course we know technology
Mhm.
forms an important part in small businesses, because we know encouraging small businesses, you need to implement technology to allow customers who are not really, because we know Generation Z, Gen Z people, we know young people, like technology, and as well as the older persons adopting a sense of getting used to technology. And of course, how do these guys adapt to the ever evolving landscape of business and technology? So of course, let's kind of try to intertwine technology with business. So how does your guide explain that persons will be able to adapt to technology into their businesses? Yes.
Well, there's a section in there which talks about IT. It also has information on the different IT opportunities of government. So they're able to learn from that experience as well, what is there, so that they can have the opportunity to know what is there to their advantage, as well as it's going to be done in such a way that it will be available on the, how would I say it, social media platforms,
Yeah.
so that persons will be able to purchase it and get an opportunity to purchase it online on Amazon, rather than have it printed out and available locally. Other persons will have the opportunity to access it and also have online programs as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's where I'm heading.
That's quite interesting. As you touched on that, but of course we have a lot of questions remaining. Questions, of course, that will remain unanswered until next time to continue our conversation. But before you leave, we like to tell our guests here, what are some of the tips and advice that you can provide to somebody who might have the idea of starting off a business, or they have started off a business and kind of stuck on something that is covered in your guides? So what are some of the tips or advices that you can provide to allow them to elevate, to reach to a certain level that they see themselves at? Yes.
Some of the tips. One of the things that I have in the guide is tips on what not to do.
Yes.
That's going to guide them as well, because every section, every chapter has tips on what not to do in business. That's going to guide them. So that section will be important for them to read as well as tips on what you should do in business, what you should not do in business, what will cause you to fail, why there are certain things that you should not do. It also has tips on how to get out of it, and resources as to what you should not do in business, but all these tips as to what you should do. Another tip I would give them is to read the case study section, learn from the different lessons learned that the people has learned from, and also learn how to manage your business as a project. Learn how to expand. Don't just do things in a haphazard manner.
Yes.
Do it in a structured manner. And in doing it in a structured manner, then you have a better opportunity to achieve your mission, your vision based on your mission. And not forgetting, you should be persistent and consistent as well in doing it.
Be persistent
Persistency and consistency,
of course,
will allow you to achieve your vision through a proper strategic mission.
Definitely, that has a ring to it, of course. Yeah. And of course, we do hope that our listeners actually took this information in and will implement it. And of course, guys, Mrs. Morris, thank you so much for coming in. And of course, this is not goodbye. We're looking to have you to be continued, our conversation for MSMEs. And of course, if persons looking to purchase your guides and book, how are there any what are the contact information they may use, or places that they might find these books?
Okay, right now I am working with our local business service providers, for example J's Limited, to have some copies there, so persons are able to purchase their copies through J's. Persons can contact me as well. I have my email address up, so persons can contact me as well. And my number is 276-2689 if persons would like to purchase a copy. Also, I'm also working on putting it on Amazon.
Yeah.
So persons will be able to go on Amazon and purchase it through that media as well as other platforms. But I will put all the information there so people will be aware as to how to purchase the guides.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
And we do hope that our listeners will take advantage of getting these books. These are the textbook for our MSMEs here in Dominica, regionally and globally. And Mrs. Norris, thank you so much once again. And of course, we do look forward to having you right back here in studio and to educate and inform our listeners and those engaged in the MSME sector. Yes. And of course, to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And those of you on our Facebook pages who looked at our live, thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, season's greetings to you guys. And we do hope that you enjoy your Christmas day and your long weekend, and hope that you will stay safe, of course. And to our small businesses, don't forget, if you're looking to get some marketing or you want to be a guest on our program, you can, of course, reach out to our office at 448-5822 or our email address at www.Q95Va.com. As always, it's always a pleasure for me being your host for this episode of the Nature Isle Small Business Buzz, brought to you by Archipelago Trading Agents of Beacon Insurance Limited. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we do hope that you'll enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
It's good. It's good. It's back. The Kentucky sandwich from KFC is back. Good. The Kentucky sandwich, only $16.50. Want more? Then get a combo with sandwich, regular fries, and regular soda for $23. Feel happy to save at KFC. KFC, it's good.
Can test the quality. When I'm out and it's my time to play. It's actually not the crew, it's not different for you. I hear you get rocked anytime you drink it once. The XM Supreme, 15 years. The XM Royal, 10 years. XM 5 years and the 750 milliliter bartender. Come on, pass me a bunch of thanks extra match ya premium blend. Try out the 200 or the 750 ml. Yeah man, guaranteed for any occasion. Say you can't go wrong with Banks Rum. Hey, you can test the quality. Banks, yeah, more than Chanel. And Supreme high wine, the pot and the white wine, and for the fruitcake, the bread that tell me, and Supreme brandy. I give it back. You can test the quality. When I'm out and it's my time to play, it's a trading and the crew making a difference for you. I hear you get runs anytime you drink it. Remember, drink responsibly.
When you get to a certain age, different things drive you. Like the anticipation of a new adventure, the comfort of having friends who've become family, or just enjoying that journey to the next destination. At Beacon, we've given our 50-plus drivers more